Woohoo! Well, everyone, welcome to the attic. I spent a lot of time up here. You can see the 2x4 joists. There was a layer of insulation, the original stuff. Don't worry, it wasn't vermiculite. And then a couple layers of the pink stuff. And then we got a decent layer here. You can see I had to blow it all out of the way of this blown in fiber stuff. So what I was talking about earlier are where these joists meet up. This is right down below where we knocked out that little structural piece. Now, it wasn't load bearing per se, but I'm sure it had some function in keeping these 2x4s from just scissoring down and causing the ceiling to crash down. So you can see what I did is put in these lag bolts, lag screws. I put one on each side where they come together, and I thought, yeah, that might be good enough. But the more I think about it, this is pretty old wood, 90-year-old wood. It's dry, it's brittle, and if I put a load on this at all, I worry that they'll crack. So what I've done is gone and cut a bunch of 2-foot lengths of plywood, and the plan is to sister these on the other side of where I've put the lag screws, and put a couple more lag screws in, and put 2 of these on each section. That way I don't have to worry about them cracking. Now, I don't plan on putting a huge load up here, so I don't think I have to worry too much about the ceiling bowing. But eventually the plan is to convert the attic into a master suite, so I think in the short term this will be just fine. So I'm going to put these up, and then we will, you see that 2x4 there, that's what you saw from below left over from knocking that other thing down. This way we can patch that up and have a nice flat ceiling all the way across, and hopefully no cracking. So there you go. I've got them all screwed in. Hopefully that'll be enough support to prevent cracking. Now, while I was waiting for the batteries to charge, did a little vacuuming, and you remember that little hole in the wall over the built-in cabinets. Check this out. Whoa! There's like a shaft in the wall. Goes all the way down, and then all the way over those cabinets. I can't really show it to you right now, but it's always fun to find stuff like that. So the next step, see this 2x4 here in the middle. While I was waiting for the batteries to charge, I also went and cut around the lath with my reciprocating saw so that I wouldn't pull a ton of plaster down with it. But we're going to go downstairs and set this up, and we're going to knock that sucker down. So here's that 2x4. Saw knocking down earlier. You can see I've put some temporary supports up while I was up there screwing everything together. Let's knock it down. So as you could see, the 2x4 broke in half, and I was trying to pry it from the bottom, but the ceiling's a little bouncy now. It's not bad, it's just bouncy, so I was trying to pull the 2x4 out, and the bounciness was making it difficult. So I put this board back in. I'm going to go back up and use a pry bar, try and get the rest of this out. So hopefully you can see why that 2x4 was so hard to get out. It was toenailed in there by a ton of nails. Check that out. Now I gotta cut those out with the Sawzall. We're gonna tuck this mesh up into the hole, put some drywall in there. This will be an easy one to skim over. Coming up. So here's where we're at. Got all that mesh folded in. Got the plaster kind of cleaned away. And you might notice there's a strap on each one of these. So we'll go up in the attic here and talk about that. So when I took that 2x4 out, the ceiling was a little too bouncy for my taste. It was fine, but if I'm going to put a layer of insulation down, or I'm going to be up here doing maintenance or repairs or wiring or whatever, that plaster was going to crack. And I needed to make it more rigid. So I screwed together a couple 2x4s. And you can see strapped in to each joist. And that gave me the rigidity that I'm now comfortable with. So, kind of a pain, but better safe than sorry. Well, it isn't the prettiest drywall job in the world, but it's going to save me a ton of time with patching it up for sure. So, that's next. And there you go. Sealed up. Good to go. Now who keeps making a mess in here? Dang kids.